Politics.
You feel it? That word seeping into your bones, feeling all weird, the hair standing up on your neck. You're ready to fight me on whatever my opinion is if it goes against yours. You know, it is a touchy subject, especially in today's climate, so I'm going to do my very best to put that to the side. You are going to see very quickly how difficult that is, and I only bring this up because it is going to be hard to avoid. But with that disclaimer out of the way, I want to talk about Parler. What is Parler, you ask? Well, see, I had the same question a few weeks ago, so I had to do some digging, and what I found was strangely interesting. So, for reasons I don't really want to get into, I heard about Parler from murmurings on Facebook and other social media places. And what I heard from it is that it was like Twitter or Facebook, but it promoted free speech. I put that in quotations because it seemed to me that the only people who were transferring from the, more mainstream social media sites over to Parler were the right-wing Americans and the Trump supporters. Again, trying to push that political part off to the side as much as possible. Whenever a big group of people, demographics, move from one place to another or from one thing to another, there's generally a few reasons why they want to do that. One of them could be oppression. They feel that they're pushed down, minimalized, silenced, crushed. This is what I think most of those people would tell you is the reason that they're doing that. The other reason, and the one that I suspect to be a little more likely, is that they feel spotlighted, called out, and challenged on their opinions. So they move somewhere else where the people that are there agree with them or allow them to say whatever they want to say. And with the current state of the U.S. elections, there's never really been a time that I can recall, at least not in the recent past, where the divide amongst people and their opinions has been bigger. Once again, trying to remove my own opinion from this, when I see a post on Twitter or Facebook that has been flagged for misinformation or being false, it means to me that it's been vetted by someone from that organization and that its legitimacy, I swear I speak English, is being questioned. On Facebook, sometimes they just completely remove a post, and I don't think that's the best way of doing that. I don't think I agree with that. But the thing that I agree more with is the way that Twitter does stuff. And what they do is they cover the post with like a not safe for work or spoiler warning, little like blur or whatever. It's like extra blur on Photoshop or something. And when you hover over it and go to click it, it gives you like a, are you sure you want to read this? We kind of think it's bullshit disclaimer. But you can still click it, and when you click it, it then removes that blur and allows you to look at whatever the post is or read it anyways. This makes way more sense to me. So if I distrust Twitter in this case, I have the option to still read that article and make my own opinion, make up my own mind. That way, I can do my own research and come to a conclusion on my own of what I really think about whatever that topic is. Parler seems to want to directly oppose Twitter. So anytime I'm talking about like the opposing company or other social media, I'm talking specifically about Twitter. Facebook is a little different, and just to make it simplistic for the sake of what I'm doing, when I say that, I mean specifically Twitter. So when I started this whole thing, the first thing I had to ask myself is, what is Parler? And for those of you who are saying it's Parler, you are just wrong. You can just quickly look it up, and it was meant to be Parler. But everyone who started using it just called it Parler because they don't understand that French is a language or that American is not English. So they just called it Parler, and that caught on. Anyways, if you look up Parler, this is what the internet has to say. Parler is an American social media network service launched in August of 2018. Parler has a significant user base in Donald Trump supporters, conservatives, conspiracy theorists, and right-wing extremists. Posts on the service often contain far-right content, anti-Semitism, conspiracy theories. Journalists have described Parler as an alternative to Twitter, and the service is popular among people who have been banned or shadow banned from mainstream social media networks or opposed their moderation policies. Just reading that blurb caught my attention, and it started this whole train of thought that brought me to recording this video right now. So I naturally had to keep reading. Parler markets itself as a free speech and unbiased alternative to mainstream social networks such as Twitter and Facebook. However, journalists and users on both sides of the political spectrum have criticized the service for content policies that are more restrictive than the company portrays, and sometimes even more restrictive than its own competitors. Beginning in June of 2020, some users reported being banned from Parler for espousing left-wing viewpoints. That last sentence seemed very interesting to me. The free speech platform is banning or shadow banning people for espousing left-wing ideals while marketing itself as a free speech space for right-wing conspiracists. So, those two things coming together gave me an idea. I am going to create a Parler account and make it obnoxiously leftist and just see what happens. So that's exactly what I did. So, the first thing that I did was greeted with a sign-up page that looked much like any of the other social media pages. It asked for your email address and password to sign up. They asked for a phone number, which I initially thought was kind of weird. But then I found out after putting it in that the reason they do that is for authentication, and they send you like a code, kind of like Twitch does, or I think Amazon does as well. Then it gives you like a little whatever 7-digit code, and that probably I only had to do it once, but I'm sure if I logged into like a new computer, I would do the same sort of thing. So it was less sketchy than I thought. I skipped the whole section that says, do you want to follow these people or the recommended people? I didn't even look at them. Same thing with like the interests, because I wanted my page to be as bare bones as possible. I wanted to see what, if I put no information in, what Parler would try and curate to me, because I thought that would be interesting. Once I logged in, I naturally put the Democrats' cover photo, like the banner, as my cover photo, and I used my YouTube profile picture as my Parler picture. I put the YouTube link for my channel in the description, so I'm kind of expecting to get some hate garnered to my channel, but whatever. I want to stress that I wouldn't be doing any of this if it wasn't for this video and the experiment that I'm doing. I'm not a political douchebag, and I'm not trying to shove my thoughts or anybody else's down anybody else's throat. This is for this experiment because it's about the website itself, or the app, or social media, whatever you want to call it. Not about my political views or political shit in general. They're just kind of loosely tied together. So just wanted to make that very, very clear. So once I got myself situated, I saw that they automatically post something for you. It's like a little inaugural post. It says, I just joined Parler. Looking forward to meeting everyone here. Almost right away, within a couple minutes, I had 3 comments on it, which were probably botted or automated from whatever these accounts were. Without outing these people or going through their individual profiles, I'll say that one of them seemed to either like work for Parler or be like a welcome person or a bot or something. But the other 2, after I looked into them, were very heavy right-wing guys who were both anti-mask and COVID deniers and huge Second Amendment supporters. So you can have your thoughts about the Second Amendment, and you can, have arguments for or against, and I've heard both sides, and I'm not going to, explain where I fall, but people who are anti-mask and COVID deniers are stupid regardless of whatever political spectrum you're on. Stay home, wear a fucking mask, just make everything better for everybody. Not really sorry for saying that, and if you think I'm a douchebag for saying that, then I'm a douchebag. So, something else you might notice while looking at this screenshot here is that on the right-hand side, there is a people to follow bar. Without going through them one by one, I think it's pretty easy to see the trend in the type of people that they're recommending to me, and that something is missing from that recommended group. When you join Twitter and you select no one, like I did here on Parler, or at least like very basic bare bones stuff, they give you shit that's popular, like Bungie or Marvel Studios or Selena Gomez or something. But on Parler, they give you right-wing politicians, right-wing spokespersons, right-wing news anchors, the companies. That doesn't seem unbiased to me. It kind of doesn't really seem uncurated, but maybe that's just my opinion. I don't know. But since I have done some playing around here, my trending tags are a little tailored to what I've been doing already. But they originally had a bunch of weird bullshit like Parler US and Parler Australia and Parler UK, which seemed harmless, so it didn't really pique my interest. But one of them that was there was Twexit, a term or hashtag or movement started by the general user base of Parler and some of the other companies that are like Parler as a name for their mass exodus of leaving the major platforms like Twitter and Facebook to avoid fact checker, censorship, depending on who you ask, which one of those terms it is. I clicked that tag, and this is the bullshit that I was greeted with. So, as you can see, it's just a bunch of the same posts repeated over and over again by the same two people. And one of them is complete trash, as you can see. So, I thought to myself, if this is one of those spam things, maybe I could check one of the profiles out and just see, like, how long has there been an account here? Oh, there it is. 23 hours. And it's just the same thing posted over and over and over again to jam up the feed. See, I go back. Where's that? There we go. Look at that. 36 minutes ago. And I bet you, yep, see? It's the same bullshit over and over. And maybe this is why we have fact-checking or verification or auditing on some level, because this is just garbage. But actually, speaking of the verification, something else popped out that was very interesting to me. To get verified on Parler and get this little red badge on your profile, I thought you would need to verify your email address. So I pulled up my phone, went to the email to see if there was like a verify email or whatever, and there wasn't anything there, so I had to Google it. And what I found seemed insane to me. You need to take a picture of the front and back of your driver's license, then take a separate photo of yourself and send it into their company for manual review to get that badge. Excuse me, no fucking thanks. To the people of Parler, Twitter and Facebook are the kings of oppression and censorship and the monopolization, and yet I don't have to give any of those other companies my fucking address or driver's license number to verify who I am. Especially since anybody can sign up to Parler and they have no issues with misinformation. Why do they need to add this extra step? It doesn't really make sense to me. To make this big step even worse, it seems like it doesn't even work. Since I'm testing the site by being a hyper leftist just to see what happens, I had to look up Joe Biden, obviously. Maybe I thought like, I'll follow him or add him or whatever it's called to get more reach, or to put my hands in kind of like that side of it to see if people are attacking or whatever. I thought maybe that would help with the experiment. So I found the president-elect Joe Biden, and yes, it is president-elect, but there was one sort of small issue. It was obviously not Joe Biden, and it was very clearly a right-wing user posing as him and posting a bunch of bullshit and things that obviously were making fun of him, were a farce, parody, all that kind of stuff. Now, my problem with that is that the account was verified with that little red badge. So how the fuck can an account get verified when you have to get manually reviewed by both sides of a piece of ID and your photo, and it still not be the right person? Why do they not care if it's a left-wing personality or politician? I don't really know if it's just because it was him or because it just fell through. I don't really know, but they made a needlessly complicated verification system to then just completely fuck it up. And that seems insane to me, especially when it's somebody who that audience would not be favorable for. So do you only care about the right-wing news anchors, but the guy who got elected as president who is opposing is not somebody you want? And now I know that the verification is wrong because there is actually a parody verification that you can get. It has a little jester hat. And I found Joe Biden parody accounts who were posting the exact same shit. But this one had the verification of personality, which is bullshit. And I don't know how you can fuck that up. And again, it kind of seems like that fair free speech is a little jaded in one direction. You know, people who are on these sites are afraid of companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram because they don't like having their information taken, stored, sold, or used in a bunch of ways. I think that today's day and age, we're basically fucked. You know, you can't really hide from it. There's cameras in your house, in your pocket. Almost everything has a microphone in it. You can't really hide from it. But it is a concern for a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum. So Parler is supposed to be the answer to these fears of censorship, monopolization of social spaces, and the fear of those large organizations taking that information and the power that they have and using it for their own benefit. But when taking down my ID, how is that any different, if not even worse? I looked it up, and the owner of the site and company has commented that the verification information and verification pictures that they get are destroyed after the verification is granted. But if the same people who think that the 2020 elections are filled with fraud and not true, or that COVID doesn't exist, or that masks are causing asthma, or that the deep state is trying to like fuck us in the metaphorical ass, how are they not concerned about this? How does this not raise red flags all over the place? I really don't understand how they aren't worried about that, especially when you sign up for this, it says that it's going to use information from the site for marketing purposes. I know that he says that he's destroying it, but he could just, not do that. There is nothing stopping him. He could just do that. And it seems like selective skepticism on the part of the people who are joining Parler. 2016 elections had no tampering or fraud, but the 2020 ones do. I think we need to have a collective agreement that everything has this fraudy bullshit in it, or none of it does, not just when it's convenient for you. But I understand that statement could be kind of pointed and sort of politically based, so let's just divert back to the point of Parler. So, I know it sounds like I didn't really move on, but I made some super leftist posts and shared some articles that could be seen as leftist depending on the way you look at things. And I'm going to keep doing that. The only page that I'm following is Democrats of Parler, who only have one post. And I did that to kind of elicit a possible response, or at least curate my feed, the same kind of thing that I was thinking about that Joe Biden page could do. This is going to be an ongoing thing, and I'm going to keep posting stuff like that over the next little bit. And I will definitely at least make one more follow-up video to this. If nothing happens, then Parler is basically what it is advertised as: a free speech platform where you can spout any or no amount of bullshit, whether it's true or not, and whether the majority of users agree or not. And I'll be making a little quick video saying, you know what, Parler, you do your thing, whatever. However, if I'm banned or shadow banned, or people come after me or harass me or go to my YouTube channel and just like fucking shit comments everywhere, then I'll probably make a more lengthy video, possibly multiple videos, just digging into that and the whole philosophy around that. Now, this video, as well as the follow-up videos that will probably come, take time, research, planning, and a loose script here. The one that I have here is like 6 pages. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it wasn't too political. I know that it's sort of hard to avoid. I tried to be as unbiased and unpolitical as possible, but it's kind of hard with the subject matter. If you did like it, if you could please throw a like on the video, it would show me that I didn't do all this for no reason. If you hated it, or even just hated my opinion or the way that I'm looking at this, then throw a dislike and a comment and tell me why I'm a piece of shit. I'd like to see comments going back and forth, because the conversation when you go there is only one side for a plethora of reasons. So it'd be nice to have a full conversation about this. Parler advertises being a free speech platform where you can talk about whatever you want, and whether it is or isn't, we can make at least my channel, or at least the comments on it, that. So if you want to hear the update or see any of the other videos that I post, you could drop a sub on the channel so you could see some of the gaming bullshit or commentary bullshit that I put on here. It would mean a lot if you would do that. And until the next time, everybody be safe, especially if you're in America during the climate that's happening right now. When it comes to COVID around the world, wear a mask, stay home, don't be an idiot. I know that the Christmas season is coming and everyone wants to go out and see their family, but, you know, think about your family before you try and go see them. But until next time, later, dudes.